some of his, well, not some of his letter that he wrote to people out to that got published in ESPN. Then to double down, to use a professional wrestling term, LeBron tried to become a heel, a bad guy,
A villain.
He tried to become Aaliyah.
when he
Whatever.
yeah, when he got to Miami and they had the rally, if you will, with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. You'll remember that they were in center court and they were saying, "We're not going to win 1, we're not going to win 2, we're not going to win 3, 4, 5, 6." And that's where it gets a little crazy there. But it is something to.
They went to the finals their first year, and they did not win.
They did not win. They lost to the Spurs.
Oh.
So.
No, they lost to the Mavericks.
Oh, they lost to the Mavs. That's right. Yes. Which is a crazy year because actually the Mavericks.
Dirk Nowitzki.
They were a what seed that year? 6?
Yeah.
I think they were 6 that year.
It was a really good year for the Mavs.
To win the NBA championship, but I don't think they were seeded as high as you think they were going into.
No.
Yeah.
I think you're right. The Spurs were the number 1 seed, and for the Mavs just had an incredible run.
It set up the whole thing of making a super team type of way from here on out, and it also could usher in the idea of the player entitlement. They're going to make their own deals. They're going to work what's best for them. There's no real loyalty to a team. I mean, because he grew up in Akron, Ohio, right? And people thought he had to be in Cleveland or in just the state of Ohio forever, but that's not the case. And obviously now he's the Lakers, and we'll see what's going to happen with his season this year, which is going to bring me to some other things I want to talk about. We're going to talk about later on the year of 2020, the year of the asterisk. Is this going to be good or bad going forward for sports? And we'll talk about that later. Also, if I have to listen to one more sports radio or sports radio podcast where they have a guest on and someone says these are unprecedented times, I'm going to lose it.
Or the new normal.
I'd rather hear that than these are unprecedented times. Yes, I get it that these are unprecedented times.
But Jay, these are unprecedented times.
Every single time. And it's like, well, like anytime there's like a not even a real tough question, but it's just kind of like, so where do you see this playing out with the NBA bubble? And the person always like on the other end, could be a beat reporter, always takes a pause and is like, well, these are unprecedented times.
Ugh.
Like I get it. You're collecting your thoughts, even though you knew he was going to ask you this the entire time. Yes, it's unprecedented times.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll play. Ask me a question.
I don't have a good one.
Go, Jay.
Off the cuff.
Ask me the same question.
Why is it that the NBA daily can have COVID testing, but Major League Baseball so far has had trouble getting testings? For example, Chris Bryant came out recently and said he hasn't been tested in 5 days, but NBA tests every day regularly. Why is that?
Well, the leaders of the NBA are much more competent than the leaders of Major League Baseball. I mean, it's been proven throughout the years. The people that run baseball are a bunch of bubbling idiots. The people who run the NBA actually have an idea of what they're doing and have grown the league over the last 30 years. The way baseball over the last 30 years is to continuously decline, Jay. So it goes straight to whoever the commissioner's been. And baseball hasn't had a good commissioner since, I would say, Bowie Kuhn, maybe? I don't know. It's been a long time.
Wow, what a name. I will say this. That's a good answer, but you failed to say these are unprecedented times.
I was waiting for it.
I played the game without using it. See, I wanted to make you
answered
happy.
the question.
Trying to make that happen.
Well, I get I think a good portion of your response is true. The only one is that the NBA is in one city where Major Leagues is all over their different cities.
Why are we increasing the tests when the death rate has dropped almost to insignificant numbers? I don't understand. It's almost as if they want this to continue rather than it to go away.
I don't know.
Well, Leah, I mean, to be devil's advocate for you a little bit here, it's good that the death rate is falling.
It's like 90%.
But at the same time, they need to monitor and track infection rates and serious rate of infection to see what is actually going on with the disease. If they don't...
I understand that, but the definition of a pandemic is deaths, not cases.
Okay.
If that was
I'm not. But you're asking me why they're up. You didn't ask me why they're calling it a pandemic. You asked me why are they continuing and and making more tests available.
Why test people that don't have symptoms when they said
because
CDC?
they're trying to. And I was answering your question.
But asymptomatics, they said that they don't spread.
Okay, but they're testing people to see how it's spreading, and at rate of which it's spreading. They're trying to still keep track and monitoring its.
It just feels
Okay. Well, I'm just giving you
manufactured to me.
Okay. Well,
I know.
I mean, you can feel that way if you want.
Well, because if that's the case, then we should do this for colds. We should do this for the flu. We should do this. If people who are getting sick but they're not dying anymore, then isn't that herd immunity? Aren't we building up a defense, a natural immunity defense to this?
I don't know. I can't tell you.
We should do this for colds and influenza. Those are pandemics as well. If people aren't dying from something, they're just getting sick. It's not a pandemic anymore. It just
Is it an epidemic?
Not anymore.
How do the epidemics go? How do you rate the epidemics?
Death
Jay?
rate.
No, I mean, is pan greater than epa?
I don't know.
And
Anybody
then
know
what are
Latin?
the other? Are there other demics, Jay?
I don't know.
It's just annoying. I'm over it.
Can you Google demics?
I could try, yeah.
Okay. I'd like to watch Leah Google. The things that come
Not
up on her
very
phone are great, you guys.
Well, speaking about some things about the COVID-19, Bomber,
Yes.
you might be the only sports fan I know
What?
that is a fan
Of?
of umpire Joe West. See, Joe West is a Major League Baseball umpire who comes under fire sometimes for maybe making the game a little bit more about him than the players or the managers when he ejects them or how he interprets the rules or whatever else. A lot of people don't like Joe West.
Okay.
But Leah does?
Well, she may. Just hear me out here.
I'm going to like what he has to say, I'm sure.
See, Joe West is no spring chicken.
Uh-oh.
Definitely like
He's
him already.
67 years old.
It's my type. There you go.
So, so the idea is, hey, Joe, you might be a high risk for contracting the COVID-19. You want to stay home? Maybe take 2020 off? Let's not umpire this year?
Oh.
It's a lot of work to do. You know what Joe says? I don't believe in my heart that all these deaths have been from coronavirus.
I already got it.
I do.
I believe it may have contributed to some of the deaths. He said, I'm not going to opt out. I'm going to work, and I'm going to work until you take me off the field or I get hurt. Whatever. I'm working.
Attaboy. Yes, you're right.
By the way,
I do like
Anderson
him.
Googled epidemic versus pandemic for us, guys.
I got all the demics, though.
Yeah,
I win.
he gave me the same thing you got.
A pandemic. Okay,
Came in
endemic.
just seconds before you. An epidemic, Jay, is a disease that
didn't
affects
ask.
a large number of people within a community or population. A pandemic is an epidemic that's spread over multiple countries and continents. Okay? An endemic is something that belongs to a particular people or country, and an outbreak is greater than an accepted increase in the number of endemic cases. It can also be a single case in a new area. Epidemic versus pandemic.
No, just break that down instead of just...
It's just a difference of geography, population, or region. Epidemic
Yes.
is centrally
Yes.
located. Pandemic is
Well,
is,
but remember I wanted to see
countries.
which one was more severe.
it's just not
well,
at all.
technically a pandemic is more severe because it spreads over multiple countries and continents.
Right.
Where an epidemic would be, let's say, it would just be here in the Quad Cities.
Right.
There you
Yep.
go.
Okay. So yeah. Okay.
So once the disease spread past the Quad Cities, it became a pandemic.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
There you go. And knowing is half the battle, G.I. Joe.
The death rate is falling, Derek said, because more healthier people are getting the virus. Well, yeah, but also because it's not flu and pneumonia season anymore.
I don't
But
get
I'm
it.
bummed. Shh.
I don't have it.
I don't. And I have taken zero precautions.
Well, don't say it with like such a badge of honor.
It's no, not like that. I'm
You
just saying
have.
I
You
haven't
stayed
stayed home.
You have. Like, it's
I
not
haven't
like you
stayed home. Only when things were closed and I couldn't go
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah.
I've never
So you
worn a
stayed home?
mask.
You're gonna get that entire Facebook page on us now about this thing.
Yeah,
like,
what are you doing, man?
They're gonna be like, they're
No,
on the
it's
show.
my personal.
You
not,
wore a
I
Halloween
know.
mask before. I know you did.
These
so.
are my personal beliefs.
I'm
When I'm
just
not
saying.
here, when I'm not,
Everybody,
with
she's
my
wore
own.
a mask before. Don't lie to people. You wore a Halloween mask.
Okay, on October 31st, I wore a mask.
Well, there you go. Quit lying.
So anyway, Joe West done with it.
And there may be some truth to the fact that if healthier people are getting the disease and they're not dying,
That's good.
then we truly know
That's
what
immunity.
happens when people get it, what can truly be expected. Because, like I said in programs prior to this, I still have this visual in my head. As soon as someone tests positive, they're automatically on a respirator.
Yeah, because that's what the
And
fear
that's
that
not-
they've
and that's not the case.
evoked out of people on the media.
I'm
But
a scared bomber.
my whole view changed when the CDC
you better run
admitted
my leg, 'cause
that if you have
everyone's scared.
antibodies to influenza, or if you have antibodies to the common cold, you will test positive for COVID. So they're even admitting that testing positive doesn't even mean you have it. It means that you have antibodies to something else.
What if you drink a lot? Leah, what happens if you drink a lot?
I wouldn't know. I don't drink alcohol.
I mean, but will it help me or hurt me?
Yes, it helps everything.
Alcohol does?
Yes,
Okay, there you go, Jay.
alcohol, sunshine, and good times.
In good times. Speaking of good times,
That was a great show, by the way.
Yeah.
it
Jimmy
was.
Walker.
Major League Baseball is looking into adding not one but two teams, moving it up to 32 teams. Now,
Quad City Rubber Bandits?
the one that Bob Nightingale from USA Today is reporting about is the Nashville Stars.
It's a growing city, Nashville. Let me guess, Nashville and Vegas.
The Nashville Stars, that would be the first Major League Baseball club to be named after a Negro League team, honoring the teams that played in Nashville before the baseball's integration. This would be. They're also hoping to be the first team in baseball history to have African American majority ownership, and only the second in all the major sports, joining the NBA's Charlotte Hornets, owned by Michael Jordan. They have people involved in this, like Lou Piniella and Dave Stewart. They're trying to get this moving forward. Like Dave Stewart says, Rob Manfred he can't force white owners to hire black general managers or players or to draft them, but he's going to ask them to give the city of Nashville a baseball team. He's asking them to do it with a majority of black ownership. He said, think about it. We've never had black ownership in baseball. There's Magic and Jeter, but that's not real black ownership because their stakes are so small. This is real, and now's the time. I like the idea of adding. The only thing is this. Major League Baseball adds teams. They decrease the draft. Those 42 minor league baseball teams are going to be contracted. It's just another, all signs pointing to that they're going to be contracted. Although, was it on the air that someone said Dave Heller, owner of the River Bandits? Yeah, it said that all he says he's not going. They're going to continue to have River Bandits here. Now the other ones we don't know about as much, but it's you add teams, you lower the draft, more guys are going to go up at an earlier age.
Yeah, we asked somebody, and they basically said that you're probably not going to see Burlington or Clinton survive this, but the Quad Cities absolutely will.
The plan is that they plan to present Major League Baseball is a 42,000 seat stadium in honor of Jackie Robinson with privately funded money and a surrounding mixed use family sports and entertainment district.
Nashville's bumping, man. Everybody's going there in little vacays out of here.
Yep.
Lee's gonna go down there and become a star.
I don't sing country.
Oh, good.
They don't
Because then
want
T-Ray
me.
would go on a rant about how much he hates Steve.
What do you mean?
I have sang country. I
There's
don't.
a tear in my bed.
My dog died.
God, dear.
I don't mind country though. Depends on who's singing it.
Where would the other city be if you're going to add one more?
Vegas, man.
Ooh.
Vegas is already on the up. And then you're what, that football stadium's going to be indoors, correct?
32 teams kind of offsets where you're at for divisions and everything. I'm sorry.
Well, they're at 32 right now, right?
They're at 30 right now.
They're at 30 right now.
Yeah, I think yesterday we said 32. They're at 30. So
Football's at 30.
six divisions of 5 teams. That's only fair. Do you understand that?
I got you.
You only have to beat 4 other teams to win your division. Whereas now
they
somewhere
can
you have to beat 5 teams to win your
Now
division.
they can have 4 divisions in each league of 8 teams.
So go to 34.
No, 8 times 4 is 32.
4 of 4. 4 divisions of 4.
Yeah,
And then we expand the playoffs.
right.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with expanding playoffs.
Yeah, I don't care.
That's the hard hitting sports take we like, Bomber.
Woo, is what it is.
It'd be AL East,
Let's call the whole thing off.
AL South, AL North, and AL West.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like football.
That's what it's gonna. Yeah, just like football, be 4 and 4. Yeah.
You can do it. You don't like it? Well, what other than Vegas? I mean, Vegas makes.
I always say Indianapolis, but now you're putting Nashville. Now you're just adding something in the middle of central area of.
All right, but think about this.
East Coast is already too much, so it's got to be Vegas, right?
Colorado has one.
Another one in California.
I mean, if you add one in Indianapolis, it's too close to Chicago.
There's too many in California.
I mean,
What
think
about
about
Texas?
this.
Texas has.
You got St. Louis, Chicago, 2, and Milwaukee. Those are all within 5 hours of each other. And then you add in Minneapolis, Kansas City, Cleveland,
New York, Chicago,
Cincinnati.
LA, woo! Living in America.
We're not adding Indianapolis. And
No,
then if
we're
you're
not
already
adding
going to add
Indianapolis.
if you're already going to add
Nashville,
which is here.
Vegas is where it is, baby.
Yep.
Vegas is where it is, baby.
Baby.
I like it. I mean, come on, they got the room to grow out
I
there.
mean, it's not going to be Portland.
Ugh.
Could be.
Could be.
They
But
have great weather for it.
I like where your head's at, though. It's one of those two.
It's going to either be Portland or Vegas.
Doesn't it rain a lot in Portland?
And by the way, here's why it won't be Vegas.
Okay.
You got to think about this. Baseball, how do they feel about gambling? Oh, dear God, watch out for the gambling.
Yeah.
We can't be around the gambling.
But you've got NHL, you've got NFL now, and eventually
I don't
we're gonna
care.
start
Don't
putting-
touch the gambling, Jay. We're baseball. We're different than that. We're big, bad people.
We're going to put things into it. So
It's not a
now
horse track.
No, it's going to be Portland. We're big pant people, Jay. Take those tight pants off.
Portland would be no. I don't. I like Vegas.
I'd like Vegas too, but just crusty, crotchety old baseball owners aren't going to go there.
Why?
Listen,
I mean, the prostitutes hand out their business cards on the street. Why wouldn't they want to go there?
That doesn't have anything to do with what we're trying to get.
Oh,
at
you
here.
said old business or old baseball team owners.
You know.
I don't think these guys are the kind of ones that get their prostitutes on the corner, if you know what I mean.
They order them online.
If that's how they're if that's their what they're trying to do.
Let's put a pin on that and come back to it because we can.
No more prostitute talk.
No. It's not that I want. It's not that I don't want to talk about that, but I want to go to break. I want to prep going in the next segment because we're going to have Todd Brownwell come in and call and talk to us, and he's from the sister station up there in Cedar Rapids, the KGM Sports Radio up there, 1600 AM, 107.5 FM, Cedar Rapids in Iowa City, and I messaged him earlier today and said, "Hey, this is kind of what I want to talk about, and if you're interested, let me know." And he said, "Yeah, I'll come on," and hopefully he gives a little bit of insight. And maybe I'm wrong where it is, but I'll prep that before we give him a call at 12:30. And then at 1:30, we're going to talk to Big Mike from Hidden Hills. We got to set up our our Hidden Hills sponsor, DFS DraftKings PGA lineup. We're doing the classic format where we get 6 golfers and we get under $500,000 salary cap. $50,000 salary cap. Thank you. Also, things to talk about as well. The asterisk of 2020. Is this going to be a good thing or a bad thing in the future? And, just a little bit, just touch slightly a little bit more later on about the changing of names, awareness, everything. Chicago Blackhawks announced yesterday that they would keep their name and logo, but they would commit to increasing awareness of Native American culture and their legacy of the famous Sauk leader, who the team is named after, Chief Blackhawk. But we will talk about that and more when we come back from break on ESPN 1170 AM. Don't hassle us for local.
Done Right TV and Security Solutions is proud to be your Dish Premier local retailer. Use Dish's voice remote to search live TV, over 80,000 on-demand titles, and Netflix at the same time. They have state-of-the-art products. They even have their own installation experts for TV mounts, wireless networks, home theaters, security systems, and more. Call 866-84-RIGHT today to get the package that is right for you. Netflix streaming membership required. Voice remote requires internet-connected hopper. Restrictions do apply. Once again, that's Done Right TV and Security Solutions at 866-84-RIGHT.
You like that? You like that? Woo! Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
This is Ella Schmidt, the 106-pounder for Bettendorf, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
From lines of credit in Chicagoland to equipment finance loans in the Quad Cities to better cash flow in Milwaukee, First Midwest Bank is committed to using our local knowledge and ideas to help our clients get their business momentum back. Visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com. You have plans, we have ideas. First Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Golick and Wingo.
Talking to Jay Williams, our ESPN basketball analyst.
If you're asking me to compare Adam Silver to Roger Goodell and to Rob Manfred and the way he's been able to run the NBA, I mean, I think Adam is one of the best leaders we not only have in sports, but I think we have in this country. And he's been extremely pragmatic about his approach and making sure that he has all the information available. And, I think doing it at a closed location, Disney World is great. Having the teams there, having enough testing is there. And I also think that, for a lot of the players, with the exception of the guys who are making a lot of money, this could, if they can't get a season, and this ultimately could affect next year's CBA. And I think a lot of guys recognize that for players that are coming into the league, that players who aren't making millions of dollars, that, hey, like this is their livelihood too.
Golick and Wingo, morning 6 till 9 on the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
This is the Dan Levitar Show on ESPN Radio.
I want everybody to think of a number between 1 and 10.
4.
Okay, shouldn't have said it. Now I want everyone to multiply that number by 2. Now I want you to add 6. Now I want you to divide it by 2. Now I want you to take your original number and subtract it from the number that you have right now. The number you currently have in your head is 3. Boom, baby! Whoa!
It is magic. It's not a magic trick.
Magic?
It's mathic. Like, it's not magic. All you did was math there.
We're on the radio, Dan. I can't do magic. I got to do it the way I can do it on the radio.
Can't believe we all picked the same number.
The magic trick is I got the math right.
Well, that was the big upset because I totally thought we were ending this show with you going, wait a minute, my number's 5 because you did the math trick all wrong.
The Dan Levitard Show, 9 till noon on the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
This mother won't guilt trip you, doesn't expect you to call her back, won't stalk you on social, and doesn't compare you to your siblings. Too bad it's not your mother, but now it can be. The new Mother Cruncher Chicken Sandwich from Checkers. Crispy, crunchy, all-white meat with our signature squawk sauce and all the mother-loving fixins. Or the smoky sweet bacon barbecue Mother Cruncher. Get a better mother. The new Mother Cruncher Chicken Sandwiches, starting at $3.99. Get Checkers delivered.
Car old? Need it sold? Get rid of that old car and do a good deed at the same time. It's the Arrowhead Ranch Annual Auto Auction coming soon to Coal Valley. That's right, it's back. Donate your car, truck, SUV, or motorcycle, and if you live within 40 miles of Coal Valley, they will even pick it up, even if it doesn't run. All donations are tax deductible. Call 309-799-7044 or visit them online at arrowheadyouth.org. Car old? Need it sold? Arrowhead Ranch Annual Auto Auction. Stay tuned for an auction date in Coal Valley.
You're right on par in your M&M golf cart.
M&M Golf Cars, your authorized club car dealer, invites you to check out the new Onward by Club Car. Onward's all-new accessories personalize nearly every detail to fit your lifestyle. Customize yours at mmgolfcars.com. 0% financing for 24 months through the end of July. M&M Golf Cars, Bettendorf.
In your M&M golf cart, M&M golf cars.
Your station for Cyclone basketball. The Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
All right, everybody, back here in the Hassle Castle. Brought to you by Dunright Satellite Edition. You know the name of the game, Jaybird T-Roy, and the Bomb Diggity Sir, if you will.
Sir Bomber.
I'm never going to live that down, am I?
No.
I'm going to make the Queen of England call you Sir Bombs.
When she knights me into her pedophilia ring.
So I don't know how close everybody out there is following on social media.
Oh, boy.
All the things that go around right now with the Iowa football climate, environment, situation. Twitter has become something that I haven't expected to see ever.
What's that?
It's I don't know how to put this, all right? Because, now Oregon State can't say that they can no longer call their game the Civil War, so I don't even know if that's an insensitive term anymore. Every year I ask Kakert this before we get to the Iowa football season. What's the theme this year? What will be the Civil War amongst Iowa fans? What will they fight about with each other over social media? So I guess it would be the social Civil War, right? With me?
Okay, yeah.
The number one thing is usually Coach Ferentz's salary. He gets too much money, doesn't win enough games, fire him. That's usually it, okay? So that's the one where you throw it out. You're like, I don't want to hear that one. What's going to be the theme? Never would I expect on July 8th in the past week that I think we've already found our Civil War. And I think it has a lot to do with media and now people that are on Twitter fighting with media and saying, like, either you guys aren't doing enough or you didn't do enough. You didn't do enough here. You did too much here. You stuck your nose where it didn't belong, but you didn't stick your nose in this one. Calling each other out.
So basically, Twitter's
burner
trying,
accounts. Yeah,
Twitter's trying to call out Iowa press, as in the people that cover the team, and say that they're some, and they're trying to say that they're not doing enough or they're doing too little or whatever.
Or you're backing the wrong person, when it comes to like Robert T. Green or whatever else. But like so I don't know the guy. We said yesterday, Rob Howe from Hawkeye Nation. I don't know him, but he is very much like, and I understand, when we all want the players' stories, the former players and current player stories, we would all like to hear it, everyone to voice their own opinions, their concerns, anything that they have moving forward, how things are going to get better. But, he's getting called out by people, Rob is from Hawkeye Nation, saying that he's like backing Robert through this whole thing. When Robert T. Green on June 23rd wrote, Rob Howe, you stated you covered the team since 1997. People such as yourself questioned who he was. Iowa fans disrespected him as a human being. He's talking about Akron Wadley. As a human being first, an athlete that played in a racist, abusive environment under your watch as a media. I never covered Iowa, but I seem to know more about what's going on than anyone paid over there. Hashtag blind spots. And that's his quote that he's saying to Rob Howe. And now Rob Howe is getting called out by other people. From Rob Howe from Hawkeye Nation, that's saying like, oh, you're just backing Robert T. Green. You don't, because he was dismissive of our show. He's the one that said the local sports radio show. He didn't tag us. He didn't link us or anything like that.
Do you think that was on purpose?
Again, it's not a story for me to tell right now. But I just think there is something, and I don't know. I want to talk to Todd, not only because we've never had him on the show before, but he's also someone I respect, and I think he's got good opinion, and I want to hear what his thoughts are. And he I think we'll see what he says about all this, but really, I just think this is what we're at right now. We're going to have a situation where I think the whole idea that Twitter put out there that they can put out you can put out a tweet and not have any mentions or replies. They flirted with that. I would say maybe about 6-7 weeks ago. Like that might be something that people might really back. Because the trolls out there to get...
You mean you can shut them off?
You just get nothing. You just put out a tweet there and no one can reply back to you.
I've seen that on other sites,
unless
too.
they're tagged in there, like the actual person. So if I write, like, listen today on the show, @bomber.com is on here, then you could do it. All right? But we're going to give Todd a call.
Okay.
I think.
Maybe.
It usually works. Not really. Not all the time. Sounds like it's working. You take it.
Hello.
Hi, Todd. Welcome to Don't Hassle Us the Local, sir. Appreciate your time today.
Hey, you guys don't kid around when you say you're going to put me right on the air.
I told you.
The thing is we don't have a producer. We're too poor for it. Help us. We're poor.
Jay can work on that. Don't. I don't buy that for a second.
We're going to try, but I told you we're not fancy. Like I said in the message, we're not fancy. We're going
not
straight
professional either. I don't know if you watched our show the other week.
Yeah, he did.
Especially me. Sorry about that.
I'm not either. I don't know if you've ever listened to me before, so I think we'll fit in quite nicely.
Well, that sounds good. I think we have the same agenda in mind here, which is really none but the truth.
Let's start with Thursday because I did message you. I don't know how you guys did it, but I thought you did an incredible job editing the interview with Robert T. Green to put on your show at KGM in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area. And because I know when I wrote to you, I just said like that was craziness for itself just to be a part of. So how you guys went through it and got all that put together in time for your show, kudos to you. But that's why you guys are professionals.
That was an interview that I thought that was a train wreck. No, that was great radio.
That was a dude that wouldn't shut up.
Yeah, and I probably don't know. This is not going to go 50 minutes. I can tell you that much right now. And I promise I won't hang up on you. Other than that, I'm not going to make any promises here. But that was fantastic. That was fantastic work. And Jay, thanks for letting us use that on our radio program because it really helped to convey, I think, his side of the story. And I think it allowed people to judge for themselves hearing him presenting his interpretation of what's going on.
Why do you think he canceled on everybody afterwards?
I think he realized, see, I don't swim. I can't swim.
Okay.
But occasionally I will get into the pool, and you realize that you go from 3 feet to 4 feet to 5 feet of water. I'm a little over 6'2". Sooner or later you realize that you're in almost over your head. Sometimes you don't realize you're in over your head until it's too late. And I think he realized he was in over his head after talking with you guys, and so he decided to cut his losses. And I don't blame him, because I don't think it would have gotten any better for him.
The other thing on Sunday, when Akram Wadley came out on Twitter and said that he's ready to speak and open up to any media, and then abruptly, I shouldn't say, within 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't know exact timeline, then turned around and just said, like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. What do you think happened there?
I don't know. I don't have any inside information on that.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked Akram. I've found him to be a nice guy, covering him during his time with the program. He's been on my radio show in the past. This whole situation is unfortunate. Credibility is something that you work a lifetime to gain, and it can go out the window in a heartbeat. And it's all of these little tiny things that are happening here along the way that I think are leading people to question the credibility of some of what's going on here, which is really unfortunate, because it is taking away from the voices and the stories of these players, including Akram himself. I want to be very clear. I don't necessarily think that this should take away from any of what he's said and any of his allegations, but it doesn't help the case. And I'm looking forward to hearing from him when he eventually does break his silence and addresses things. And I'm really looking forward to the summary findings from Hush Blackwell, the law firm in Kansas City, and maybe possibly putting this thing to rest.
Absolutely. I think that's what we all want. And I will say, in that 53 minutes, there was multiple times where Sir Bomber, Troy, and Kakert, and myself all said that we want to hear, like, from the players. And it wasn't just like, hey, Robert, we're only listening to you and you only. We all said, yeah, we want their voices to be heard. I want to turn gears a little bit and talk to you a little bit what I messaged you earlier and what I was prepping when the show came on. And that is, I feel we're getting into a weird time, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, if it's always been this way, but it just seems like more people are mentioning, they're adding at people, and including Iowa media, to the point of questioning where their agenda is, where their alliance is, whether they're doing enough, whether they're doing too much. Am I off on this, Todd, or do you understand what I'm getting at?
I understand what you're getting at, Jay, and I don't necessarily see as much of that myself, but maybe I'm inside the bubble or outside the bubble. I don't know which way to approach that, but I think you're seeing some people call into question the agenda of some people who are covering the story, and I think it's been covered from a number of angles by a number of people, all of whom I, for the most part, have a professional and personal relationship with. Most of these guys I'd consider friends. They probably wouldn't openly admit the same thing about me in public, but that's okay. Everything's getting out there, and it's a matter of who you trust or don't trust in this particular instance. And I know in particular Rob Howe at HawkeyeNation.com taken a lot of heat for things that he's put out there. And, you know, Rob's been around a long time. Rob knows how the business operates, and I don't necessarily see much wrong with what he has done as far as his handling of this. But I think the bottom line is a lot of times you have people looking for, and this is true of anything in 2020, you're looking for somebody to reinforce your view of the world. And when somebody makes you question how you view things, and I'm talking largely about the people who think that Iowa football can do no wrong, then that leads to some issues. And this is a look in the mirror moment for this football program, and it made some fans pretty uncomfortable. So they're looking for somebody to blame, and it is 2020, as I mentioned, so who better to blame than the media?
Do you? I know, like, we'll sometimes talk to, especially like after an Iowa loss, we'll talk to Kakert, and he's either just muting people or blocking him because he says, like, yeah, they just blame me for the loss, or the way I covered it, they blame me for the loss, or whatever else. Do you spend much time on social media, or do you just put something out there, put your phone away, and not think twice about your replies or mentions or anything like that?
I spend too much time on social media. I think a lot of people do, and you do fall into the trap. You got to be careful to not think of what you're reading, what you're seeing as the true voice of the fan base. I think a lot of times, people that are speaking out, they tend to be sort of the extreme edges of a fan base, the really passionate fans. And it's not always the healthiest thing in the world to engage with a lot of people, especially, as Tom does. He's dealing with people as the games are going on and right as they get over. And my general rule, and I don't always follow it, I try really hard not to comment on games as they're playing out. Wait until things are over and then look back on it. And so, but you can be made a fool of pretty quickly. I mean, pretty famous football game where the score was 28-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how many takes at halftime of that NFL game wound up holding up when everything was said and done. So, yeah, I think that's a byproduct of where we're at in 2020.
But do you, like you said, you spend some time on it, but do you spend time engaging back with some of your mentions, or do you just let it go and, like, and if so, when you do, when is it time to cut it off?
Well, that's the beauty of social media. I can cut it off whenever I want to cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind going back and forth with people. And again, if they agree with me, I'll probably give them a little bit longer leash, a little bit longer rope. But if somebody really pushes the envelope, then I'll cut bait. I don't have time for that. But I think, again, this goes back to what I said earlier. We're looking for people to reinforce our worldview. And so I think it's healthy to debate with somebody or discuss things with somebody who may not necessarily agree with you, may not necessarily see things on your terms. It gets too silly, it gets too ridiculous, then I'm done with it. But I wish that we had more back and forth with people who have a different worldview than we do, because I think it ultimately would lead to better discussions.
I 100% agree with that, but what about when you're having a conversation with just somebody's burner account?
Oh, look, if somebody, I give way more credence to people who post using their real names, their real identities, put pictures of themselves up there. You're interacting with somebody that you know is a human being. Look, if you can go online, you can say whatever you want to, you can come up with whatever handle and moniker you want to. I don't have to take you seriously if you don't put your real name out there. If you guys were doing a radio show and you used 3 made-up names and we never saw your faces, it would be really easy to just completely be dismissive of the entire concept, right? So that's where I come down. Mm-hmm. I don't care. You disagree with me, that's fine, but you use your name, your real identity. That's sort of putting yourself out there. And again, I think we're in this area with social media where people withdraw and put up a front and use fake names and don't want to stand by their opinions. I don't get that luxury. Why should you?
Right. Well, I think what you're saying too, Todd, is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the amount of respect someone's showing you while they're disagreeing with you. I can say, Todd, I totally don't agree with what you're saying. This is what I feel. This is where I think you're wrong. But I can go in a very respectful